All right, welcome everyone to week 1, day 1 of programming basics and your experience here at the Coding Dojo. Again, my name is Josh, and here we are looking at our calendar. Our calendar is going to be our guide for everything. And remember, everything here is on Mountain Time. So if I say it at a certain time, we'll be meeting or having a lecture, I'm referring to Mountain Time. So use this section here on the right to get yourself grounded in your time zone and related to Mountain Time, which is what we'll be working on. So this area here is going to be corresponding to all the times that we'll be looking at there. Okay. Let's just get oriented here. This top header section here is the Zoom link, as you guys already probably figured out. When you click this, you'll get to our Zoom class. There is another Zoom link as well here in the office hours / TA Hall Zoom. If you click that and click the link below, between the hours of 8 to 9, there will be time where I will be in this Zoom room. And if you have any additional questions, if you need some work to be, some one-on-one time, or if there's more than one person to have some group questions answered about anything in the material, I'll be there for that hour. So I'll be, dedicated to helping you there. So take advantage of the TA office hour that we'll be doing. So again, that's Mountain Time, 8 to 9. Okay, here you can email me anything you'd like. You can send me an email to my work email here. And in this area here, lecture recordings, I'll add a link as soon as I have time to upload them to YouTube, and you'll have access to a YouTube playlist with all our lectures that we cover. Okay. And then you'll have Kaya's email here. So you can email her if you have any questions as well. And this section that says GitHub, this is a place where I'll be uploading the code that I'll be working on, so you can check that out for yourself. I'll explain more about GitHub a little bit later. This link here where it says platform, this is the link to the learning section. I'll often be referring to the platform. All of the lessons that I teach will be based on the platform. So you'll need to click this link and log in here to see what I'm going to be teaching. Today, I'm going to be introducing the stack orientation. So I'll be going through this section here. So if I go through here, here on the right hand will be the lessons, and on this section, this table of contents on the left, there are different areas that you can navigate between different sections here, like a roadmap, and this will be the introduction to programming section. So, and there's different tabs here as well. Okay. For example, if you go to this area here, you'll see there's another section of tabs that you click open through this drop-down menu. Okay. So today we're just going to be going through stack orientation, and I'll be going through this pretty quickly because we already took about half an hour to introduce ourselves. But it's pretty much stuff you can read for yourself. So I won't be going over the videos in the lecture. That's something you'll need to do on your own. I'll just be reading some of the material and making sense of it. So I'll just be reading the material and interpreting it for you in case we have any questions. Oh, and by the way, if at any point you have an important question, feel free to interrupt me while I'm speaking. I'd like to welcome you to interrupt me if you have any questions, or type it in the chat. If you don't want to interrupt me, if you think I'm saying something important that you don't want to interrupt, type it in the chat. I'll read it as I'm talking, and I'll answer your question there. Okay. What else here? So we have the office hour. We have the assignment checklist. If I click this here, you'll see all the necessary assignments in yellow labeled as core. Okay, these are assignments that you need to have done before you take your test. Everything else is optional, but very helpful. So you're going to want to do everything, but if you see yourself falling behind, stick to the core assignments, and then when you have extra time, go back to the other assignments, okay? I will be doing pulse checks here. So as I'm lecturing, I'll ask you guys, give me a 1 through 10 on how well we're understanding this topic that I'm introducing. And I'll ask you guys to type in the chat a number 1 through 10, 1 being like, I don't get it at all, and 10 being, okay, I fully understand what you're saying. Anything in between is a grade of like, 5 is like, well, like understood something, but I'm not sure if I fully understood everything. And 8, somewhere between 7 to 10 is a good level of understanding. Not everything will be 10 right away. And so just be aware that sometimes any topic that I introduced will take some time for it to digest in your understanding. Okay, so these are the core assignments. Again, you'll see these marked on the platform as well. So if I go to a section here, let's see if I go further, and I go here, all the assignments that have the pencil mark, those are core assignments. If you see one that has a pencil mark but it has an O, like this one here, that's an optional assignment. That's for your your additional learning, and P is a practice assignment. Okay, another thing about this platform is that everything, any assignment that we give you, it's not going to be in a random order. So if you see here in this section, this navigation bar, spot the pattern, JavaScript arrays, and then you see this one that says arrays. Those are going to be core readings for whatever challenge that we give you. Okay, so it's not going to be as if there's a random order. Everything is related. So if you're jumping around and you don't understand what the point or how to find the information, read a little bit before, okay? Read this area before. It's probably going to have all the answers that you need in order to complete that assignment. So just remember that. Okay, let's go back to the schedule here. And let's look at a career services map. So this is some information for you about how you'll be interacting with the career services. Read this on your own time. I won't be explaining much of this now. And let's look here at the schedule. Okay, so this morning I will be explaining expectations, how the platform works, VS Code. This is a program we're going to be downloading, Discord, Zoom, and the reading. Okay, so let me explain Discord really quickly here. Has anyone who doesn't have previous experience with Discord? You just raise your hand and I'll see you on your camera. Okay, cool. All right, well, Discord is that we will be using to communicate with each other. I'm loading it here, so give it a second. And I will show you how Discord works. It's really simple. It's just like a chat room, like a group chat that you'll have, like a text messages between you and your friends. And here it is. All right, here's the first message I sent yesterday. I sent a link to the calendar. The link to the calendar is also here. If you don't have access to this Discord chat, check your welcome email. You should have the invitation there. And anytime you want to type anything, you can just type it here. So I can say, hello, good morning, class. And you guys should all be able to see that. You can send GIFs here, send some images, anything you'd like. Just make it, what I would say, office appropriate. So don't go too far out there with whatever memes or jokes you guys send in there. If you want to get my attention, like alert me specifically, if you say at dojo Josh, cohort Josh V. So if you say at cohort Josh V, that's going to alert me specifically. Josh, I need help with something in room X. That will make an alert sound, and I'll be attentive to it. And what else here? Most of you should be able to, access each other. You can reply directly to somebody by right-clicking that or clicking those three dots and click reply. And I'll say something like, I'll be right there. Okay, so that's how Discord works. You guys should all have access to this channel. It's like this little classroom with Josh-V. Okay, so make sure you handle that and that you're able to access. Cool, that's Discord. So we'll be using that as our main channel of communication if it's not here on Zoom. Okay, Zoom here also has a chat. So if you explore that, there should be an option there that you can see the meeting chat. Here's where we'll be answering questions, linking any additional resources during the lecture, etc. Okay. You will also be able to share your screen here on Zoom as I'm sharing my screen now. And we'll be able to draw on each other's screen to point out whatever buttons, tools we need to click. Please don't draw on my screen while I'm lecturing. That will be a distraction for the whole class, and it's a bit annoying. But when we are sharing our screen with each other, when we're learning, one-on-one, when we're in breakout groups and rooms here, that's the time that we'll be doing that. So, okay, awesome. Let's go ahead and get on with today's lesson because we're going to go overtime here anyway, because we're supposed to have another one at 10, but we only have 20 minutes left for this one. So I'll just briefly introduce any other topics here. So we went over Zoom, we went over Discord, reading. So the reading here, it's going to have a list of what you should be doing from the time that we finish this lecture until our next lecture. And it's also going to be listing the assignments that you need to do. Okay, so for this 11 o'clock, get your Discord set up, read centering your motivation, and the daily planner activity. Okay, now let's go ahead and go to the platform and do a bit of reading there. Okay, so congratulations on your journey on starting a new step, a new career. We are going to go over some classroom rules and then, explain any if we have any questions here. So most of our learning, as I mentioned, is going to be from this platform. By the way, mine looks dark. If you'd like to change yours, you can just click this button here. The light bothers my eyes after hours of reading, so I need to change it to a dark theme here. So, okay, anyways, here's the Learn platform. The practice that you're going to be doing is by completing your assignments. And what this lecture is meant to facilitate your learning. We're here to guide you. We're not going to teach you every single thing here that's available on the platform. So it's going to be a simulation of the work environment. When you get dropped into a new assignment, when you get your first job, some of the first weeks you'll have your senior developer walking you through the different technologies, getting you set up. That's what I'll be doing, but they won't be doing your work for you. You're going to have to be discovering a little bit on your own, well, a lot of it, of what you're supposed to be doing. Okay, Zach's asking, so do we need to be using Zoom on the same device we're doing our work? If you have two computers, no, actually, yes, you'll need to have Zoom on the same device you're doing your work, because when you want to share your work, if you have a question, you're going to have to share your screen using the same computer using Zoom. You won't be able to do that using two. I have two computers here. I can log into Zoom for both. I'm working on a Mac, but if I need to explain something on a PC, I'll take a minute to switch over and show something on a PC. But everyone here will need to have Zoom on the same computer that they're working on, yes. So don't log into your phone on Zoom and then show me your screen through like a camera flip. You have to have Zoom on your computer and show me what you're doing. You'll need to share your screen using Zoom on the computer that you're working on. Okay. So this is a boot camp, so that means it's going to be intense. They're expecting about 70 hours of work. So it's going to be like a 40-hour work week while you're here, like the 9 to 5 hours. And then after that, you're going to be doing homework as if you were in school. So maybe it's less for you, and if it is less, then good for you. But for me, when I was a student, I was putting in as many hours as I humanly possible. So I didn't have much time for anything else. And that's the way this program is designed. It's meant to be a compact, but a thorough lesson here. Okay. So watch these videos on your own time. And then we'll go ahead and continue through here. Here in this page, they're talking about resilience. So that's the ability to get back on your desired life path after having made a mistake. So often we'll be making mistakes here, and you'll be asking the same questions over and over. You're going to feel like you're, how do you say it? Like you're just not getting it. Okay. And that's because we're learning a new language. All right. So like babies, when we're learning something new, we make mistakes. It's kind of funny sometimes, but just laugh at yourself and move on with it. Okay. You're learning something new, completely new here if you don't have experience already. So, and don't compare yourselves to others. Some people may grasp the concepts a little bit faster than you. But the goal is not to compete with one another, but to help each other. Okay. And the more you just get over the fact that you may be learning at a different pace than someone else, the faster you'll be able to focus on yourself and learn anyway. Okay. So the key is to use these mistakes to learn and not to keep them from keep us from trying again. So you just feel like, oh, I just don't get it. I'm trying my best, but it's not sticking. Eventually there will be an aha moment. And that's what us instructors love to see. We love to see, oh, finally he clicks it. He knows how to put a sentence together. And then after that, you'll realize, oh, okay, I'm getting pretty good at this. And then you'll hit another wall. And that wall, you'll realize, oh, okay, I need to figure out again how to get past this. And there will be continuously hitting walls. But then the more you realize this is just the process of learning, you'll never stop learning, and you'll just get over the process and learn how to work with it. Okay. Even when you have years and years of experience, you'll still have this process of, okay, I don't get it, but I'll figure out how to get it. I know I've done it so many times before. Okay. All right, so the growth mindset, I'm going to be going through this quickly. These are like the ABCs. You feel like you're always learning, make mistakes, make your brain grow. I want to challenge, read this on your own time. Okay, this is just an easy way to get yourself motivated. Let's go through this a little bit quickly. Okay, psychology of failing forward. Okay. When you take on a challenge you don't understand and you don't succeed, your brain may justify a struggle as a way to protect you. For instance, your brain might tell you that the struggle you're having isn't your fault in order to protect your sense of confidence and self-worth. This kind of blame reflex is part of what's commonly referred as failing backward, and you can hold back from taking positive risks and encouraging deep learning. However, psychologists recommend reframing failures in a way that replaces the behaviors of failing backward with mental habits that encourage trying new things and learning from our failures rather than avoiding it altogether. This more positive approach in the face of struggle is referred to as failing forward. Okay, what that means is when you fail and you realize you are failing, to not beat yourself up over it, but to realize this is part of the challenge that we are designing for you. Okay. So this is going over the concepts of failure because we'll have a lot of it as we're going through this. Okay, this course, this programming basics course, wasn't always necessary as a necessary requirement, but we realized we needed to have this installed before we went on to web fundamentals because there was just too much low pass rate and struggle and failure. We need to get you induced into this process of, okay, I'm going to have to learn on my own a little bit here and struggle with failure. Okay, so here are some other readings you can do on your own. I won't spend time with this. And here are some flashcards with some videos as well. So all this is meant to motivate you. Famous people that have failed before: Bill Gates, Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, Mr. Honda. So don't worry about failure. Fall fast, get up quickly. Okay, that's the motto here. And discomfort. So let's read through this a bit. The reason that we are lifting weights and so it stands: the reason that just as lifting weights builds our muscles, we can cause us some struggle and pain, we should expect that learning will be uncomfortable. So this whole boot camp, if you don't know what a military boot camp would look like, watch a movie on it. And we won't be yelling at you, but it's definitely going to be hard work. We're going to be using new muscles in our brain that we haven't used before, solving problems in a way that we haven't. It's not necessarily math, like a math class, but it does use some math, and it's going to be a lot of problem solving concepts, a lot like working with puzzles. And if you haven't done these before, at first it will feel like, oh yeah, okay, I have no idea how to do this. And you'll just be experiencing that feeling of building a new muscle. Okay, so that's what we're here to help you do. So let's go through some bullet points here. How to take care of yourself: exercise, eat healthy foods, and get enough sleep. This is really important that you get enough sleep. Don't stay up all night and then come to class with 2-3 hours of sleep, because then you won't have the energy. You maybe not retain everything that you learned that day. We'll be going over how to read, write, and perform the math skills necessary to function in life, how to walk, talk, run, play, converse, and participate as a member of society. So these are all things that we've all experienced before, schools and careers. So this is just a recycle of what you already know when you're starting something new here at the dojo. Okay. And here's the learning cycle. We start learning, we start processing new information, we struggle with that process of understanding. Then we get into, okay, I finally understand it, getting into some deep learning, and then you get successful with it. Okay. Embrace the struggle, acknowledge your feelings when you don't understand something. Take a deep breath, step away from your computer to refresh your mind. Often that is an important thing to do. If you're just reading something and it just starts to make less and less sense, become gibberish, go for a walk outside, drink some water, do some jumping jacks, anything that you do that gets you away from your computer, that's often necessary. Even in the job field, that never becomes irrelevant. So you'll get a fresh pair of eyes when you step away for at least 5 to 10 minutes. When you come back, you'll realize, oh, okay, I was just frustrated and that's why I couldn't read. Okay, reread the content. This is super important. Reread the content. When you understand it the first time and you think you fully got it, if you go back and reread it, it'll solidify itself in your mind. Looking at key pieces that you might not have processed the first time you read it. Focus on the concepts you do understand and use that understanding to help figure out the new concept that you're struggling with. So the way this learning platform is built is that everything that we teach you is the next step to the next concept that we're going to teach you. So understanding builds on itself. Okay. And look at similar examples online. You're free to Google something if you have any question, but everything that you need here is on this platform. Okay. Healthy struggle. What this means, this term refers to that space where it is productive to struggle to learn a new concept. As a general rule, we ask students to spend 20 minutes working to understand a concept they're struggling with. But then we recommend reaching out to an instructional team for help. So if you're struggling with something for 20 minutes and you don't get it, don't spend more time doing that. Ask a cohort mate, hey, do you get this? I'm reading this, but I don't understand. If you go to 2 or 3 people and group of people don't understand it, then ask bring that group to the TA and to myself. That way, whenever you get stuck, I'm not always doing a one-on-one, and I can teach as many people at once that don't understand a concept. So try to rely on each other. That's where I'm saying you need to rely on each other. When you get stuck for more than 20 minutes on a concept, then go to a neighbor and say, hey, I don't get it. Do you get this? And the more you guys explain to each other something that you do understand, because when you explain something, you are also solidifying that knowledge in yourself. When you teach something, you understand it in a new way that you may have already thought you fully understood it, but when you teach it, then you really get it, okay? If you allow your cohort mates to teach you, rather than just coming to us, the instructors, every time, that's going to be beneficial. And that's also the way it works in the workplace. When I had my job, I couldn't go to the senior engineer every single time. I had to rely on my coworkers. Even though my coworkers may have not had the answer, sometimes in explaining the question to my coworker, I would figure out the answer as I'm explaining and say, oh, never mind, I never needed your help. I just needed you to hear me out. Or that person will take some time to digest your question and may not know right away, but with two minds put together, you'll find the answer instead of having to rely on your senior engineer every time. So that's also what we're trying to simulate. So if you have a question, I don't want you to be shy to ask me or Kaya, but I want you to rely on each other before you come to me, okay? So again, if you meet a neighbor or cohort mate and after 20 minutes you still don't get it, then come to us, okay? And also, we're here to encourage you. You know, I'm here to tell you about how many times I've failed and how many times I've had to get back up, and that you can do it too. All right, if I can do it, you can definitely do it. You've learned so much already in life, but how and why along the way, you probably encountered struggles and failures you were learning. Just consider a toddler learning to walk or run. How many times do they fail before learning to get steady on their feet? Right? It's a funny process to see someone fall down, get back up. But then, you know, it's a happy feeling for us to see you finally get on your feet and do things that you didn't think you could do before. Okay. Fail stands for first attempt in learning, okay? End is not the end. It means effort never dies. Okay, cool. And no means next opportunity. So, all right, let's continue on. Requirements, course guidelines and requirements. All right, let's begin to, let's examine our assignment requirements. You may have noticed that your assignments have practice and core. I've already explained this. If it has a P next to the pencil, it's a practice. If it's C, well, if it doesn't have a O or P, then it's a core assignment. And again, you have the list of the assignment here, the assignment checklist, in case you're wondering if you're doing the right assignment. So the yellow ones are the ones that are highlighting the core assignments, okay? All right, so let's continue. We're going to be reading through expectations. All right, let's get through this. Exams. All right, so 90% of core assignments must be completed in order to be eligible to unlock and attempt the exam. You'll be having 3 attempts to your exam, and our first exam day will be Thursday in the afternoon. And then you also have a Friday as well, okay? You'll need to have all or 90% of your core assignments complete in order to be eligible to take the exam. Exam is not that difficult. Last time I taught this course, everyone passed the exam. And it's, you know, my pride to make you guys be able to all pass the exam and get you to that level of understanding, okay? Passing score is 8 out of 10. It's pass or fail. So 8 out of 10, okay? That's what you need to pass. Okay, now let's go over academic honesty. We'll need to go over this. So the do's and don'ts. Here you'll need to go over some videos on your own to explain to you different examples of what is and is not academic honesty. Okay, so let's go over what's okay. Asking your peers for helps on assignment. That's okay. Ask your peers for help on assignments, okay? Reading an online resource to get ideas for your bootcamp work. Read online, Google something. It's going to be a skill that we help you develop here. Citing external sources that you used in your work. That's good. That's using integrity. Submitting your best effort on assignment, then reviewing the solutions file to learn more. That's okay. Okay, here's what you don't want to do. Don't ask for somebody for help on an exam. That will result in getting expelled if we see you doing this. Copying a whole assignment or complete function component from a peer or online resource. So don't copy word for word everything that you do when you're working with a peer or if you find something online, okay? Failing to cite external sources that you used in your work. Submitting a blank or unrelated assignment in order to view the solutions file. So we'll be requiring that you upload zip files. And if you just upload it to make it complete, we'll notice it and we'll send you, we'll notice that it's blank, and then we'll let you know, like, well, how come you didn't actually submit it? What's going on here? And using AI-based programming assistance. So no AI, don't use ChatGPT or any other AI tool to answer the question that we're asking you, okay? You're here to learn, not to use tools that are learning for themselves, okay? These are new tools, and you're going to want to be able to explain why you did what you did. And if you use an AI-based tool, or if you just copy something word for word online on Google, then you won't be able to back up what you're doing and why, and you won't be able to do that in the workplace as well, okay? And for details on copying assignments, you cannot be a majority of an existing application or a repo, or that means like a file folder structure made by anyone other than yourself. Cannot be an explicit replica of an instructor TA demo. So I'll be doing demos here on these lectures. If you just go back and copy my code word for word, you know, I'll notice because I'll see my code, okay? So you'll have to have an understanding and do it yourself. Code you can take reference or snippets from. You can take stuff from this platform. So if we explain something to you, we have code that you can copy, use it from here. That's why it's here. Okay. Code that you've created. So any past code that you've created, you can use that. Code created in class demos. Okay. Code present in official language documentation. So that's articles that you find online about what you are currently learning. Code present in help topics or Q&A sites like Stack Overflow. This is a common website that you'll need to reference in your coding experience. It's a community of coders that will post answers for each other. Code found on GitHub. So GitHub is a place where people post their code online. You can reference it, but you can't use it wholesale. You can't just copy it and say, this is my work. Collaborations with other students is allowed. It's encouraged. Do it. But don't just copy your peers' code that they did and say, oh, you know, since we work together, mine looks exactly the same. No, you have to use each other to have an understanding, but don't just take that work and claim it for yourself wholesale. Okay. Now, exam rules cannot be the majority of an existing application or repo made by anyone other than yourself. Okay, I explained this. So if it's your own work, you can reference it, but you cannot use someone else's work. Can't be an exact replica of my work or Kaya's work, or another TA or instructor that you encounter during the TA hall hours. Must be your own new application. Whatever you create has to be from start. Majority of code must be your own. Referencing documentation helps. Topics from the learning platform and relevant documentation is still okay. You can reference anything in the Learn platform for your exam. So if you know that the answer was there, but you don't exactly remember how to write it, it's in the platform, you can use that, okay? You can reference help topics or Q&A sites like Stack Overflow. Cannot reference any other Coding Dojo exams. So you cannot ask another cohort person, hey, can I see your exam? Can I use it? No, that's forbidden. So cannot collaborate with others on the exam, right? That is a big no-no. Cannot If someone else jumps in your exam room while you're taking exam, let me know, let someone else know, because if we catch you, you'll be caught and you'll get in big trouble and you'll be expelled most likely. Okay. So this is your promise, not only to Coding Dojo, but yourself. If you paid so much money to learn, don't cheat, because then you're just cheating yourself, right? As the saying goes. Okay. So now that we've gone over this, go over this material again on your own time. I'm not going to just read everything word for word from you, but just introduce you to these topics. Okay, and let me just read this word for word exactly. Students who exhibit academic dishonesty, including any form of plagiarism, cheating, falsification of records, or collaboration with others to defraud, may be expelled from the program immediately. Academic dishonesty includes the use of AI-based programming assistance for the completion of assignments or exams. Okay, so again, don't use any AI. Be your own intelligence.
Got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
On that last page, it says we can reference Q&A sites like Stack Overflow, past
Yeah.
exam.
Yes.
We can, correct?
Yes. For the
Okay,
exam,
great.
you can reference it. But we may ask you, let's say it works, the code that you copied, and while we're reviewing with you your exam, we're going to ask you maybe why it works. If you just copied it and you see that it works without understanding why or being able to explain it, that's going to look suspicious. So whatever code that you reference online that you find, make sure you're understanding what it's doing, not just that it works. Okay. So there has to be a level of understanding there. Okay, does that answer your question? Okay, great. Cool. All right, let's move on. All right, let's take a look here. What we want to get to, when we get to VS Code, installing VS Code, then I will stop the lecture and leave you guys on your own. So let's just keep going. Let's find out where VS Code is here. It has to, it's going to be at the very end.
Sorry, I have a question. Can you hear
Yes.
me?
Sorry?
So the question that I have, you keep saying reference. So like during the exams, we can reference. What do you mean by reference? Like, do you mean just like looking it up and looking at the syntax, the flow, whatever, and
Yes.
kind of, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, looking at the answer. And in the exam, you'll realize sometimes that some of the answers may be on the platform somewhere. If you know exactly where it is, then yeah, use it as a reference. Look at it, understand it, and then write it yourself. Okay. So it is 6 minutes over the hour. We're going a little bit over schedule here, but I do want to get you guys prepared. So, let's go through this quickly as well. Okay, in this class, we will mostly be learning JavaScript. JavaScript is the programming language of the internet. All applications have three basic parts. They have the front end, they have the back end, and then they have the database. And I like to compare this to a restaurant. When you go into a restaurant, you sit down and you're greeted by a waiter, and the waiter gives you a menu, and then you point to the menu item, you say the menu item, and that waiter takes your order, writes it down, and brings it to the cooks in the back. That waiter is like the front end. It's like the website that we see. Like what we're looking at here, you see this table, you see these headers, these bullet points. Imagine this being like a menu. This is the face of the application. And the face has some logic to it. It has some text, it has some styling to it, right? The font is white, the background is gray, the borders are black. And there's also a bit of logic that goes into it. When I click this welcome link on the left, it's going to bring me to this area here. When I click this tab here that goes from light mode to dark mode, there's a bit of logic there, and that's what JavaScript is for. So there's three parts to a front end framework, but JavaScript is the logic part, the part that we need to go over here in programming basics. The back end is like the cook, so they put together the meal and deliver it to the waiter that delivers it to you, the customer, the user, and they get it from the database, which is like the refrigerator where all the food is stored. So they know, the back end will know how to search the database, put those different parts of food together, then they put it together themselves. They give it to the waiter, who is like the front end framework that gives it to the user. So there's this three-part system to all programming. And for these 4 weeks that we'll be doing programming basics and web fundamentals, we'll be going over how to build a front end. That's like the face view of the website or application that we're building. Okay, so JavaScript is the internet language that we'll be using and explaining here. Okay, we know how to talk about different data types in JavaScript, different types of variables in JavaScript. So I'll explain what those mean in a bit. And then there's also this app called the Trace app. We'll be using that as well. So if you go to the helpful links here in the calendar and you click this link Trace, I will be explaining how to use this. We'll only be using this in this programming basic week. And there's a little bit of a learning curve to knowing how to use this, but once you get it, what the point of this website is to do is to it's to explain how JavaScript works line by line. It will go over each line and in which order it will be reading it. And so your eyes will be accustomed to reading this function, whatever it means, in the order that the computer will read it itself. Okay, so this is what this app is for. This is what we're introducing here when we say algo app and trace. Algo app, if you're not already familiar with it, if you have a link here in the helpful links section of your calendar, if you click this, you will be able to log in using your email address. And then you will see here a list of activities that you'll need to do to help get yourself oriented with how JavaScript works. Okay, so I'm just introducing this now. Don't worry if it seems confusing. Okay, and for today, let's just get into this lesson here. These are notes from me, the instructor. Okay, let's go over terminology. When we say stack, course, or chapter, it has to do with the section that you are on. So this 4-week introduction course is a front-end stack course. So it's going to be, a stack is a collection of different technologies that work together. So right now, the piece of the stack that we're going to be, for this week, is going to be JavaScript, as I mentioned. And there's going to be code challenges as well. These are activities that you'll be doing to practice your skills. A few special notes about these is that there are a lot of these, and that's intentional. We want you to practice often, and this means instructors can't feasibly look at every single code challenge that you do. However, you can still get feedback from us. And if you want feedback on these elements, first get your peers to look at it, to get some commentary from your peers, and then ask us, the instructional staff. And there'll be a lot of opportunities to practice what you're learning, and so do all of them that you can. It's not about getting it right, it's about the learning process. So take advantage of that. Okay, and again, how we teach, I already went over this quite a bit, but we're here to spot you while you lift weights. Okay, we're not going to do the weightlifting for you. So as you do the exercises, we'll make sure that you don't get too frustrated, that you injure yourself in some way, or you have a misunderstanding that you're just consistent on. We're here to facilitate your learning, okay? Give you ideas and opportunities to tinker with, give you resources and articles that you can read I correct you when you get off the track, encourage you when you need it. Okay. The things that we won't do, we won't be the single source of knowledge. Use the readings, videos, and cohort mates and all instructional staff to grow in your knowledge. Use them to your advantage. Connect all the dots for you. We won't connect all the dots for you. You'll need to transfer what you learn from lectures and algorithms to figure out how to solve the afternoon's assignment. We won't give you always a direct answer. The greatest skill we teach you is how to ask the right questions to find the answers you seek. A lot of the time, this was a big skill that I had to get here while I was at the dojo is learning to ask the right questions. And it was one of the most necessary skills when I had my first job, because there would be a certain hour that I have to ask this group of programmers that built the components to the program that I was working with. And there would be a long line of programmers trying to ask all at the same hour, squeezing their questions. And I realized that I couldn't just sit there and try to come up with the question on the spot. I had to figure out how to ask the best type of question in order to get the answer I needed. So some sort of like interrogating or like lawyer-like skills where you're asking the right question in order to get the right answers. So we'll teach you how to ask the right questions to yourself and to whoever you may be working with, okay? Read and review every assignment that you complete. You're not doing assignments for them. You're doing them as practice for yourself. If the code runs, it works. And another thing we won't do is explain everything in detail. There's decades worth of knowledge about programming and computers. You don't need to know it all. You just need to get started on your career, okay? So it's a very practical course. We want you to get hired and get a career. It's not like a university program where they go over all these ethereal concepts that don't maybe relate to the job. We're going to be teaching you stuff that relate directly to get you the skills to get you into the workforce. Okay. Okay. So this is some reading you guys should do on your own. We can't always give you the right, quote unquote, right answer. There's more than one answer to everything. And there's more than one efficient way to do everything. There's also obviously more efficient ways to do something, but we're going to just give you the answer that we feel at your level of understanding that you need to continue on with this program. Okay. A lot of you say that you're, gamers. We want you to pass the level. We don't necessarily need you to pass it with a perfect score, doing all the coolest tricks that would get you, a lot of fans or whatever that you do, that you would get through that game. We just want you to pass. We just need you to pass this, because there's so many things that you could do in as far as your understanding. We want to give you the right understanding, the necessary understanding. And if we notice that you are advanced in learning, then we'll give you we'll help you based on your level of understanding. Okay. Code challenges give you opportunities to practice. We already went over this. Exams and belts give you opportunity to demonstrate your prowess. Okay, so the exams will help build your confidence. And when you get onto the next course or next section, Stack Up Technologies, that exam that you would have passed will give you that confidence that, okay, I have gotten to a certain level of skill and understanding. Whatever it requires me, or whatever the next challenge requires of me, I know that I can be able to do it because I've already completed these challenges thus far. Okay, no nonsense nurturing. Our goal is to get you ready to be on your own as a developer. This means we'll be there to help you get over the hurdles and provide some direct instruction, but we'll also challenge you as appropriate to grow in your problem-solving skills. This is something you'll need to grow on your own. Problem-solving skills. So again, we'll be spotting you in your weightlifting as an analogy, but then you're going to have to learn how good form on your own, so that when you're on your own, you can continue to practice and teach yourself what you need to learn for the job. Okay. You need to be your own trailblazer. And here are some super important points. You need to be present for class. Okay. That means being here the moment class starts, and being present so that you're not asking, oh, what did I miss? Okay, and bothering your cohort mates, asking them, oh, I'm sorry, I had to miss class for some so-and-so reason. We know life happens. You have to miss it sometimes. If you have an emergency, if you have something unexpected, power goes out. But be flexible. When I had a job and I needed to turn in some work on a certain time, you know, I just moved here to Texas, power went out, didn't have any internet. I just went to a cafe at a local grocery store, started working there. I had to get it done. So be flexible in what you can do. Take your computer somewhere and be able to learn. If you can't connect with your computer, if you don't have Wi-Fi, then connect with your phone. Maybe have some, you know, 5G left that you can use to understand, and be at the lesson the first time we explain something, okay? Be humble and compassionate with yourself. So even if you have a lot of understanding already, you want to be humble, because we may be able to polish a lot of the edges that you may not know that you need to be polished. And be compassionate with yourself. Even if you don't get something the first time, you need to forgive yourself for not being the genius that you thought you were, okay? Strength through struggle. That means if you fail, get up, pick yourself back up, dust yourself off, keep working, and seek answers from your own resources. So each other, online, and then come to us, the instructional staff. Okay, again, don't expect us to be the single source of knowledge. Don't ignore the value of your cohort mates. Even to this day, I still keep in contact with all my cohort mates, not all of them, but the ones that I got close with. And struggle in silence. Don't just, you know, beat yourself up alone in your own room, in your own head, and get frustrated. You know, talk about how you're frustrated with your cohort mates. They may be able to help you. Say, hey, I'm feeling the same thing. Maybe we should ask the instructor together about this certain concept. That's totally okay. Okay. We want to know what you're struggling with, even if that's just a confidence issue. So I guarantee you, I can let you know how little I knew about this stuff and how much I had to struggle to get through it. I can also tell you some fun stories about staying up late at the dojo. Okay, when I was there in person. Be present. That means show up every day with the energy. Be on time. Okay. Be humble. That means what I already said. Don't, you know, think that you're a hot shot, and you know, just because you don't know everything the first time, don't beat yourself up. Strength through struggle, and use the 20-minute rule. Okay, a lot of this is just to let you guys know here. So the schedule, I already went over the schedule and how to attend lectures. The Zoom meeting and the schedule on this tab at the bottom is here, so you know to click that. Okay, so now I'm going through this pretty quickly here. Integrity, that means not cheating, using the code of conduct. We already went over that. The dojo hall is the hour before class starts, where you can talk to various instructors, myself included. You can join the hall from this link here, again, from 8 to 9 Mountain Time in the morning, AM. Okay, there's also a link here. What else? There's different breakout rooms here. These different rooms allow you to jump around. I may be in a different room than another instructor. That's because maybe the instructor is speaking to something and I don't want you to wait in line. Look for different people in different rooms, okay? I may be in a different room than the other instructor that's in the room labeled Programming Basics, Web Fundamentals, okay? And then you join the room. We'll have some practice with Zoom in a bit if we don't already have it, okay? Again, these are different time zones. We are on Mountain Time. 7 days a week. Dojo Hall is open 7 days a week. Based on the time zone you're in, you know, do the math and adjust yourself to Mountain Time. Okay, watch this video on your own. It'll familiarize yourself with Discord. Again, Discord is this app that I have here. You guys should all be able to post something here and say hello, you know, howdy, how you're doing, if you need help with anything in particular. And sometimes I will link code here for the morning. So you'll need to have Discord for sure ready by tomorrow. Okay. If you have any questions on how to get Discord set up, we'll do that after this lecture. And okay, again, we're just reinforcing these rules. Collaborate, get help when you're struggling, make friends. This is super important. Make friends while you're here at the dojo. Be friendly. Where's that rule? He who, wants to make friends makes himself friendly. Something like that. Okay. And this is more information on how to access that Zoom hall lecture. Clicking more on Zoom on the Zoom tab, clicking breakout rooms, you'll see the list of rooms that you can join. Join that room to get the help that you need. Okay. Now let's go over this roadmap really quickly here. We're going to be going over how to create a file, zipping a file, and installing Visual Studio Code software. Okay, that will be the last thing that we do in this lecture, and that will get you started on your own learning. And by the end of the boot camp, we want you to be comfortable making a T-chart whenever you see an algorithm, something like this here. And what this does, you'll create a T-chart that will basically, like when you were doing algebra or some sort of math problem in class and your teacher told you, I want you to show your work, not just give me the answer. The T-chart is the show your work portion. It's where you demonstrate your understanding, and you'll have plenty of time to practice. This is a T-chart, a T diagram. So you give the name of the variable. In this instance, the variable is X. So I'll say X, and the value is going to be 3. Okay. And then we say then X equals X plus 1. So 3, X is 3. So 3 equals 3 plus 1 is 4. So the new value of X is 4. And then you say console log or something here. It's console log. Okay, what do we want this to equal? X. What do we say? X final value was 4. Okay. And then you submit the answer here. And then you check your answer. Then there will be a video after so much time of struggling that will show you what you got wrong or what you need to do to get it right. T-charting, defining and creating variables and arrays. What we need to know what these mean and what they're useful for. Variables and arrays, defining and creating functions, conditionals, and loops. We'll understand what this means in a bit during this week. Making programming predictions on the above programming basics. Okay, that's all the stuff that we already explained. Employing basic time management so that you'll know how to manage your time with your level of skill that you're coding with. Okay. And general topics you'll encounter in this preparatory course include computer and web basics, JavaScript variables, basic operators, functions, comments, what it means to console log, what conditional statements are, what arrays are, what loops do, using arrays and loops, time management, problem solving cycle, and the beginner mindset, the emotional intelligence you need. Okay. Career services. This is where this is a service you have for life as a student with the coding bootcamp. You will be able to do mock interviews that they'll help you with your resume. It's a service you have for life. So however long you need help from this service in order to find a job, we'll be here to help you with that. Okay, I'll give you any techniques, job searching techniques that I've learned as well. But career services is going to be the main source for all the stuff. They don't place you in a job, but they help you find what you need to do to get that job. Okay, they definitely helped me, and it's its own struggle, but it's doable. If I can do it, you can do it. So time management, support systems, these are all different topics here. I guess I'll introduce it. Time management is more than just setting a timer and adding tasks to your calendar. Have you ever forgotten that you need to water your plants, or that you were out of clean socks? You're not alone. Here's a resource for time management. You can read through this, manage your time to know, okay, when do I have time to read through this? It's creating a schedule for yourself and making sure that you hit all those things on your schedule. Where was I? support systems. Who can you turn to when things get tough? Is there someone who's there to help keep you in your household moving financially, emotionally, and day to day? What about when the internet gets weird? Here are a few support systems we recommend. Who can help you with your tech issues here at the Coding Dojo that aren't Coding Dojo related? Who can make sure that the household stays afloat, both financially, physically, and your day-to-day needs while you are here at the dojo? Okay, you're going to be plugged in here, learning a lot of information quickly. Who can be a good listener when things get tough? You may go through a couple emotional breakdowns. I've seen some tough guys here at the dojo have some emotional breakdowns. I had a few when I was a student. At least had one. And on my first test failure, I thought I had it under wraps. When I failed, I was so frustrated. I couldn't even understand why I was so frustrated. Maybe it was my own ego, like breaking down, not thinking I was as great as I was. You may have some, okay, but have somebody that you can lean on if you get to that point, or have a way that you can get through that. Another student of mine that I had last week, he had to pass the test on the third attempt, and he, in order to get to that point where he was like not stressed, he had to work out. And I had to tell him, like, dude, you need an hour break. You can't just push yourself. I can tell you're frustrated right now. Go work out. And he came back and he was like, okay, you're right. I needed to get that energy out. So have a way that you deal with emotional stress. Okay. I think most of these tabs I don't need to go over, other than, let's see here. I think you guys all should go on this tab on your own. So I will skip this stuff. Maybe this one here is actually worth reading. Oh no, this is a video. So watch this on your own time. I think it's about time that we wrapped up this lecture and get to organizing our files. Okay, so with a lot of you may be familiar with computers already, but I am going to explain from the very basics how to make a computer work and how to organize yourself. Here is a demonstration on a PC. Okay, I'll be using a Mac, but it's very similar to PC. If you're on Linux, sorry, we won't be explaining how to do it on Linux. But if you're on Linux, you probably know how to do it anyway. Okay, so let me share a different screen here. Okay, you're going to see my structure is a little bit messy already, but bear with me here. I'm going to right click on my desktop and I'm going to say new folder. That's going to allow me to make a new folder. And as you see, my desktop, it automatically organizes files based on alphabetical order. So right here is the folder I created, untitled folder. So I need to double click this name, and I'll give it a name. I'll say example folder. Whenever you name a folder, don't put any spaces. If you need to separate words, use the underscore or dash. Okay, that's next to the 0 on your keyboard at the very top. Okay, so I've created this example folder. It's organized itself in alphabetical order, so it moved over here. And if I want to open this folder now, I double click it. Okay, now I have stuff in this folder. I have nothing in this folder. Okay, so that's how you create a folder on your desktop by itself. Okay, this is just the desktop. If I want to delete this folder, I right click and I say move to trash. And now it's deleted. Okay, I think most of us know how to create a folder. Let's get a status check. From 1 to 10, how comfortable do you feel creating a folder on your desktop? So give me a 10 if you know how to do it, and anything less, give me that number so I know how to catch you up. How to create a folder on your desktop. Again, we're going from the very basics of how to use a computer. I need everyone to participate, please, here. So write in the chat if you know how to create a folder. Awesome. All right, let's keep going. Now we're going to be using this tool called Visual Studio Code. Okay, this is something you will be needing to download and install. And be careful because there's an app called Visual Studio without the word code in it. Don't get that one. That's not the right one. You need one called Visual Studio Code. Okay, there's installation for Mac here, installation for Windows. Okay, so I'm on Mac, so I'll click this link. And then you click download at the very top. You'll see the different versions, Windows, Mac. I need everyone to do this now. If we run into any trouble, we'll clear up what we need to do. Okay, click the download and install Visual Studio Code. Here's a video tutorial as well on how to do this, how it works, apart from this lecture. Okay. Once
Hey,
you,
Josh,
yes.
I think you might be sharing the wrong screen.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Appreciate you, Kaya. Okay. I was sharing the wrong screen. So here is the screen I should have been sharing. Here's the link for installation on Windows and for Mac. Okay. Here's the video that will help you understand how to install it apart from my explanation. And I'm going to open it here. And this is what my version looks like. I'm going to create a new folder. So I'm going to go to the top left here. Let me restart it. Okay, I'm going to say open folder. And it's going to give me here my desktop. I'm going to click here, desktop. And I'll say new folder. And I'll say something in here like example. I'll create this folder. And from here, I'll be able to open it once I have it selected. On the left-hand side now, you'll see where it says example. This shows me that I'm in the example folder I just created. And if I wanted to create a file in this folder, I click this button here that says new file when I hover over it. And I'll say something like example file.txt, just a text file. Okay, most of you, when you open up Visual Studio, it will look like this. You can go through that process by clicking that open link there, saying new folder, creating the folder name. Once you create it, then you click open. And you'll see the same folder file structure here as well. Okay. Now I can write text in here. And I will be able to create folders inside this folder as well. So inside this example folder, if you hover over the folder icon, you can type in something like this, inner _ folder. And you should be able to drag files into folders as well. So if I click this drop down button, you can see that nothing is open, but the folder opens up, that little icon. Now you can be able to drag this file inside this folder, and it'll ask you, are you sure you want to move it in? And I would keep this unchecked because you may make mistakes when you move around folders and files. Okay, and then you click move, and you'll be able to move that folder now, that file inside this folder. So now when you open it, it'll show that file or hide the file. You can create another folder here. I can say another example folder, and there it is. I can drag this folder into the other folders as well. So now I have a folder example that has another example that has the inner folder, and in that inner folder, I have the example file. Okay, so that's how you can drag folders in and out of each other. You can drag this file outside. When it highlights that gray area, it'll be able to move there as well. Okay, so that's the basics of creating folders and moving them around in Visual Studio Code. Okay, and your first assignment here is to zip up a folder and submit it. Okay, we'll show you how to do that as well. Okay, so once you create your folder file structure, then you'll need to know how to zip it. I'll show you how to do that on my other screen, so I'll remember to switch it this time. Okay, so you see how this one that says flex.zip, that's a zip file. So if you get to that point, you know you're successful. So I'm going to zip up this cats folder. Okay, I have one called cats. I'm highlighting it here in case you can't see it. Let me annotate here. This one, cats. What I need to do to zip this up is right click it and say compress. And now I have the zip. And now I can submit this zip by dragging it into the platform. Let me share my other screen here. So you can browse it. You can browse and select and upload your zip. What I prefer to do is to drag it. So right now I'm dragging it from my other screen into this one. So now I have it dragged into this area. And it's telling me I'm late. That's because I'm an instructor. I have a different version of the platform. So if I click confirm, now I can delete it if I'd like and resubmit another zip. You'll see a section here that allows you to submit a URL. That's for when we have GitHub working. Don't worry about that now. Okay, and this is an optional assignment. So VS Code extensions. This will be the last thing I show you, and then I'll go ahead and switch over to the calendar to show you guys what you need to study next before our next lecture. Okay, so in Visual Studio Code, once you have it up and running, you'll see on this section on the left, there's multiple tabs. This one that has the file, these like two papers, this is going to open and close your Explorer that holds your folders and files. This one with the magnifying glass will help you search your current folder. So if I type in, text from this text123 in this file, it'll show me exactly where that appears in this file. So text123, it's going to highlight it as well. So that's the magnifying glass to help you search. This one is for GitHub. We'll show you how to use that later. Don't worry about that. This one is for debugging. Don't worry about how to use this yet either. This one is the one we'll be clicking right now, extensions. And extensions are additions to Visual Studio Code that are optional, but that we'll show you the ones that we recommend. And be careful from installing too many extensions at once, because what can happen is they will conflict with each other because they're not designed to work with each other, and they'll make your experience with Visual Studio Code worse. So be careful with installing too many extensions at once. And when you install extensions, make sure that you're using a recommended one. Okay, so we'll recommend some to you right now. The first one that we'll search is called Rainbow. So let's find out what Rainbow does. And you'll see here indent Rainbow. That's what we want. What this does is when you indent, it will color code the columns that are specific to the indent that you are on. And you should be able to see here something that says install. Once you click it and it downloads, it's already installed. Another one we'll recommend here. Let's see, another one. I think that's it for now, actually. Indent Rainbow. That's it. That's all we're going to recommend for now. Indent Rainbow, that's it. What I will show you is how my Visual Studio Code version is dark. Okay, so if you go to this gear bar at the bottom left, this gear icon, if you click on themes and you click color theme, you'll have different options for how you want your color for your background to look. I use a dark background because if I'm reading with a white background, it irritates my eyes after so much time. So I don't know what these mean. If I click here, Synthwave 84, then it makes it purplish. So when you look at your file, it has this purplish background. It's a little bit too purple for me, so I'll just go back to themes, color theme, and I'll pick a one that's dark. I just use a standard dark one, which is dark Visual Studio. That's good enough for me. Okay, if you like with the white background, that's fine. Do what suits you. Okay, but if you're wondering why mine is dark while yours is white, what you'll need to do is go to settings. No, sorry, not settings. Themes, and then click color theme. This will let you look through the different, here, there's a red one. I think this one's bloody pie. That's a little too intense for me. So again, go to themes, color theme. And I recommend changing it to dark because it'll help you work longer without getting your eyes irritated. Okay. And that is it for now. So what you guys now need to do for yourself is read through this material, The Power of Peers, and your stretch goal, what you're going to want to finish is finish all of the getting ready section. So that means everything on this page, reading through these terminology, code challenges, how we teach, read it thoroughly for yourself. Watch all the videos that are related to all the tabs. Go through this roadmap section. Go through Hack Your Learning. Read all that for yourself. Okay, and then your assignments until we meet again at 2 p.m. is to read the daily planner activity, centering your motivation and getting Discord set up if you don't have Discord already set up. Okay. So type a 1 in the chat if you already have Discord set up, 0 if you need to get it set up still. Okay. So if you click this assignment Discord here, you should be able to read through this and fulfill this assignment. And then click here as you finish, create a Discord account, upload a screenshot of your Discord introduction. Check. Okay, so we should be doing this assignment as well. What else? Getting through that assignment Discord, give yourself an hour for lunch. And then when you come back for lunch, you're going to want to do some reading. Read through variables and data types. So that means you go here to the platform, you click on the next section here. You read through these areas, how to use parts of an app, get to variables and data types. Then read through here, understand this, take a quiz for yourself, watch this video, and read these sections here, what variables and data types are. I will be explaining this in the next lecture, but if you do the reading beforehand, you'll be better prepared to ask me any questions that you didn't understand during your reading. Okay, so again, let me reiterate. Read through getting ready, read through all the tabs, all the sections, get Discord set up. Once you get Discord set up and you finish that assignment, you can click off these checkpoints here at the bottom. Once you finish that and you have Visual Studio completely set up and you do these assignments, or you upload a zip file and you play with the extensions, go into the next section that's Introduction to Programming, read through these parts, and then read variable types, variable data types. Okay, read through these sections here. That'll get you ready for this afternoon's lecture. Okay, so from 1 to 10, let's get a pulse check on how we're feeling about what we need to do before this 2 p.m. lecture time. Awesome. All right, I appreciate you guys' feedback. Okay, excuse me. So what I'll do now is I will set up breakout rooms for us to work in. These are going to be separate rooms that we can use if we want to work in a quiet space, work in a room with other people in it, talk a little bit about what we need to do. If you have any questions, I will create an office space for myself and for Kaya. You can jump into our offices if you need to talk about something, have something explained to you, and I'll also create a lunch break room. So when you're on lunch, you can go there, and that's how we'll know that you're not available. Okay, but you need to stay on the Zoom call for the rest of the day. And we'll be doing attendance checks throughout the day. So every lecture, 9 a.m., at 10 a.m., and at 2 p.m., we'll be doing attendance checks. Okay, it's necessary that you guys don't miss too many lectures. If you have to miss for any reason, you need to have it excused. Talk to your student experience manager. If you don't know who that is, it's most likely one of these here. You'll be able to contact Lauren, Kristen, or Chantel based on the email that you received and let them know, oh, I have to miss lecture for so-and-so reason. I need to have excused. Will it be excused for this reason? So don't miss too many lectures because they do stack up for the whole entire course, and you'll get an academic mark on your record. So don't miss too many. Okay. I'll explain a little bit more on that next lecture, but I think for now we've covered enough information. Be here on time, on the minute, for our 2 p.m. lecture time, and do the reading. Okay, I'll create the breakout rooms now, and if we have any questions, now's a good time to ask. If not, I'll go ahead and create these breakout rooms. I'll stop the recording as well.